BTCUSDT. It's Monday, 12th of May, 9:33 UK time, and we are on the Bitcoin BTCUSDT now. Price currently tanking. Earlier today, we were, Thursday, the 8th of May, we began to notice this trend line forming. And let me just zoom out to the higher time frames. Let's go for the 4-hour, and I'll show you why this trend line seems pretty important to me. So if you notice as you extend it out, notice what you get. So extending this trend line out, we have a resistance here. We had a breakthrough, retest on here as support, broke through, retest down, retest on the bottom, down, broke above, and then if we go into the finer details, do remember this is 10th of April that I've extended this trend line towards. So if we just go to closer details, you'll get a bit more clarity on the points. So as you can see, I'm just readjusting it so you can see the details here. Support. Now, what I noticed here was we had this trend line forming where you had kind of like price just kind of bouncing along this trend line. Had a resistance here, broke through, started to sit on this support resistance line, and then started to follow this trend line. Now, the idea was if it breaks the trend line that it's been forming here, if it breaks, you would enter the trade point at the break, or you could enter it on the retest if you get one. In this case, you didn't, you just broke because we'd had such a massive run up as well. So a lot of the time when it does break, it will break strong to the downside. So it did. Quite a strong move down. This would have been a great short trade on the smaller time frames. Let's extend this out. That's what you're looking at. So this is actually the 1 hour. And yeah, so you'd wait for price to close below this. So this would have been the close below. Enter the trade and just set your stop loss basically around about this area. Why? Because this is area of interest. We had the candle wicks kind of playing around this area, closing here, just touched on the bottom, just touched on the top. So this area would be a stop loss, and you would enter into a short trade, setting it just above and doing a 2-to-1 trade. That would have been your 2-to-1. Now, that would have been a clean 2-to-1. There is probably more downside to come. Maybe not on the 1 hour. You may get that bounce and pull back, but if we just go to the day candles, we will see that we've already been oversold, and this is the RSI set at 80 on the top and 20 on the bottom. That's how I set it, because it just kind of gives a little bit more confirmation. Whilst everybody's looking at 70 and 30 as oversold, when I get 80 and above, then it really kind of like is a bit more of a certified oversold on the RSI. So what we have here is we have oversold on the RSI. We've had this massive run up from 74, just up and away, all the way to 105, basically. Okay, that's quite some run up. So there really hasn't been any pullback on this. So I'm at least expecting a 30% to 50% pullback on this run up. But anything's possible. Who knows what could happen? It could break all-time highs and just go skyrocketing. But you know, like, especially when you see this type of spinning top, as you can hear, looks just long. It just looks like all wick there today. on today's candle, a tiny bit of body. So a lot of not sure where the market's going from the people in the bots. So that's my analysis for today. I believe that if you hit anything close to 91, it may be, depending on what the price is doing, maybe a good point to purchase something. Let's just look at the weekly before we head out. So weekly kind of gives, you've had very strong green candles on the week. We haven't had these long wick pullbacks as we had on the previous all-time highs. If you just look closely at these candles now, you have these long wicks. You look here, December, you had these long wicks. Even though price was still, making all-time highs, you could see this selling pressure, and then eventually it just collapsed and came down. Okay, we haven't quite got that yet on these candles. It's looking very bullish indeed. So, but realistically, if we can't put in an all-time high with kind of a retest of some sort on one of these levels to create a higher low than this low, and it comes back down, if it doesn't manage to break above all-time highs and starts printing red candles on the weekly, I would just kind of like, if it was me personally, I'll just hold and wait to see what's happening, rather than buying in at the top and getting wrecked. So, but who knows? This is Bitcoin and anything goes. But like I said, there's not much of these long wicks on the top. It's looking very bullish. On the weekly, we're not quite in oversold territory. We have seen in previous Bitcoin history where we had that all-time high, ran down, ran back up, just broke above the all-time highs and just got wrecked completely. Could this be another play out here of a double top and down? So as I've said before in previous videos, if for any reason we break and come back down to 73, I mean, that's your double top. I haven't seen any triple tops that I can pick out on the weekly. It just does. I can't see any. It's usually double tops that you see before complete reversal. Let's look at the history here. No, there just isn't any triple tops that I've seen on the higher time frames. Like this is the weekly. So if we can't put in that higher high here, I believe that we could be looking. It comes down to 73 again and happens to break below it. 50,000 is on the cards. If it breaks below and retests underneath the 73 support resistance line on the weekly, you've now got possibility of it heading down to 50,000, and so on. If for any reason it breaks below that and starts to retest and can't get above, then anything's possible. I mean, we had this previous all-time high, which was 60, 68 or so, and then it went down to 15. I mean, if we just measure this quickly, what is that measurement? I mean, let's check that what that actually is in percent. So just quickly expand that down, and it hit that. As you can see, I mean, let's change to the day candles. Sorry. Just for a bit more accuracy. So we had price and date. So I'm taking it from the top there. I'm dropping down all the way to the bottom, 77% pullback. Okay. So let's see what a 77% pullback would look like from here, all-time highs. 77% pullback. I mean, this is 70, and the reason I don't even, I mean, I just hold it at 70 because this particular support resistance line at 30k is quite an important one. 30k, 24, because there's been so much action on the higher time frames within these areas. As you can see, there's been a lot happening on that one line in the last 5 years. Support, resistance, and up and away. So the last time we was in that area was October 2023. Have not returned, but that is what could be on the cards. As you can see, 70% pullback. It's very possible in Bitcoin when it comes to the bear market. So just the idea is just to watch what the price is doing and react to what's happening on the actual price action. That's it for me for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll be back for the next video in a couple of days. Stay safe, protect your crypto, and see you in the next video.